I'm here today with Stu Miniman, who is a senior analyst for Wikibon and co-host of theCUBE. Stu, thanks for riding along today.
It's great to have you in my neck of the woods, Scott.
It's been great to be up here. I mean, what are some of the big things you see happening in enterprise IT that are really things that CIOs and IT practitioners have to watch out for today?
Yeah, first, what I'll point out there is, we that kind of watch and, Scott, you've been a CIO, you don't go out there and say, what I need today is I need composable infrastructure.
No.
I said I've yet to find a CIO that says that he had a convergence problem. What we have today is that rate of change. That's one of the biggest things affecting business today. Everybody is worried about, oh gosh, am I going to be Uberized? Can I keep up with the requirements of the business? So agility is what I need, and the way I need to get that is I need to really modernize, what I'm doing inside. So whether that is, okay, I need to take my old infrastructure, which was really slow to be able to deploy. I mean, we remember the time where it's like, okay, I decide what I want, I go through the whole process, I buy it, and hopefully 6 months later, I'm up and running. And that just means that the underlying infrastructure is there, let alone my application on top of it. That whole purchase, deploy, sandbox, and then fully rolling things out, we need to go a lot faster. So public cloud helps that. The solutions like hyper-converged infrastructure, which make my environment look like a pool of resources rather than discrete pieces that I have to buy, integrate, migrate. All of these things drive simplicity and drive agility.
This idea of things being additive is so true. I mean, you go into organizations and rarely do they just tear things out. They are always adding new things and still having to maintain the old. I think that's actually maybe starting to change a little bit, but as people start to realize that the more of this stuff that we add, the more complex this gets.
Hey, Scott, I mean, you remember when virtualization from VMware first rolled out, some of the real business values were, number one is, it was great that I could take 20 servers and collapse them down to a few. And there was that immediate cost savings by doing that. But the real value was that time to deployment. It was, wait, I need to buy another, DL380. How long is it going to take for me to get that? Instead, wait, I can just spin up another VM.
Right.
It was, what was the bottleneck in allowing me to deploy something faster? Great, I could spin up another operating system, I could get that deployed, start out in test dev, put it through production, and that life cycle shortened, but oh wait, the networking didn't quite work, or the storage had some other pieces, so we're moving, how can we move faster? And a lot of that reminds me of, containerization today.
I worked for Hamilton College in upstate New York, way back in the late 90s. And the gentleman that I worked for, he's actually retired this year after 42 or 43 years at the college, running IT. He said that our job is to put ourselves out of business. So he was very forward thinking in that our job is to continually innovate to a point where we're constantly meeting the needs of the organization and they think they don't need us. And also, so that we're not creating little fiefdoms for ourselves, because that happens in IT too, where people basically create their own job. And we don't want that either, because that's not necessarily good for the business, and we want to make sure that the stuff that we're doing in IT is relatively value add. And I think one of the challenges from a career perspective for decision makers, leaders, and IT staff in general is this constant need to reinvent, because the stuff that we've done that we felt provided value to the business is not value add anymore. It's a drain. Because a service provider in a lot of cases can do this stuff way less expensively. And I kind of see that when you get to a point where you're saying, how cheap can we do this? It's commodity, which it is, and some of the things that we're doing. And we have to, as in IT, continually say, what are we doing to help us propel the business forward? Not what are we doing to be as cheap as we can to the business? And I think that's a huge paradigm shift for a lot of people.
I mean, Scott, I'm full agreement. Love that. Our friends, the Geek Whisperers, who do their podcast, always talk about that kind of career progression and what are you doing. Something I've always tried to do with people I manage, and even for myself, is at least once a quarter, look at what are you doing that is repetitive, or the things that you're not adding value back. And can you automate that? Can you shift that? Is there some way that you can be adding more business? Because when I go speak in certain areas, people are, oh gosh, they're going to take my job away. And there's the rhetorical question, Scott. Okay, hey folks in IT, next year, do you expect to have more or less budget overall? It's like okay, less. And do you think you're going to have more people, or you're going to be kind of flat on headcount? Okay, we're going to be flat. And wait, are you going to have more things thrown at you, more storage, more everything? So if you can't be more efficient at what you're doing, and a lot of it is there's only so much efficiency you can crank out of some of the processes you're doing, you need to get out of some of the things you're doing.